Hello everyone, I'm Vashti Hardy, the author of Wildspark, and I'm going to be answering some questions for you today. So, hope you've enjoyed reading it if you've read it, and you've enjoyed being part of the Factorium and an apprentice there. Perhaps you've progressed up to craftsman, who knows? But yeah, hope you've enjoyed it so far. Now, the questions. Let's start. Is the Factorium based on a real place? Now, the Factorium isn't particularly based on a real place, but when I was imagining what it could be like, I wanted to do something a little bit different. So it's got the feeling of it's a place where you learn, there are apprentices, so it feels a little bit like a school in some ways, but also it's a place of work and a place where things are made and created. So taking a factory as a base and thinking what would a cross between a factory and a school environment be, and I came up with the idea of the Factorium, and I looked at lots of different pictures on Pinterest to try and be inspired of how it would look, what it would feel like as an environment. So that's how I came up with the Factorium. Question number 2. If you could make an invention like the Mechanimals or the numerator, what would you invent? Now, when I'm coming up for invention ideas for my stories, I often take things from real life that have been invented or maybe were tried but failed in some way, and I take them and make them work for my story. So the numerator, for example, came from something that I saw, a Victorian invention where they used mnemonics to transfer post, and they were going to try and upscale it, but it never really worked. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if I could make that work? And that was how they got to the Factorium in Wildspark. So if I could invent something, I would. The thing I liked, something that was really practical and I could use every day, lots and lots, and I would invent a teleport machine, some sort of teleporting device, so that I could easily, if I wanted to go to a school and visit children, I could just, click my fingers or get inside my teleport machine bubble, and I could teleport to different places. Or, if I wanted to go and visit an environment to do some research for my books, I could go, right, let's teleport to the jungle, or let's teleport to Antarctica, or something like that. So for me, a teleport machine, maybe like a sort of a Doctor Who TARDIS type of thing, it would be, that I could get about in. So that's what I would invent. Question number 3. In the book you said if they were personifieds, Agapantha would be a mouse and Cora would be a bird of prey. What would Prue be and what would I be? Okay, firstly, Prue, I think Prue would be something, pretty intelligent and that could travel quite fast as well. I think she might be a wolf, maybe a kind of a grey European type of wolf would suit her really well. Maybe she'd have wings as well, because I think she'd like a bit of something extra to put on her. So I think Prue would possibly be a wolf. Or for myself, what would I be? I think I would quite like to be. I'd like to have something with hands. Maybe I'd be similar to Edwin, maybe a stoat, or tell you what would be quite fun. I think I'd quite like to be an otter, because otters' hands are quite, they've got little paws that looks like they could do things quite well. But also, you get to be a water personifier and go in the rivers and swim underwater and things. So yeah, I'm going to go for being an otter. Question number 4. Have you ever seen a ghost? So as you know, like with Wildspark merges two things that I'm really fascinated by: ghosts and science and invention. Now, when I was younger, I used to love ghost stories and reading ghost stories, and I was always really fascinated And when I was younger, I did have a few spooky experiences that I can't explain. I mean, I can't sort of say ghosts are real or ghosts aren't real. I don't know, but I do believe there's a lot about the world that we don't understand. And when I was younger once, I shared a bunk bed with my sister, and I was on the top bunk, and she pushed me up with her feet. Well, I thought she did. When I looked underneath, there was nobody there at all. So that spooked me a bit. But what it was, who knows? Question number 5. Where did you get the idea for the ghost machines? So the ghost machines, I think your best ideas come from places that you are really passionate about. So I love science and invention, and I love ghost stories. So one day I was thinking, what if I mix the two together? What if I mix ghosts and inventions? You know, I knew I didn't want to tell a classic ghost story. I wanted to do it different in a new way that nobody had done before. So I thought ghosts and machines together, that could be a magical combination. What would that world be like? What would be the story to tell? So that's kind of where I got the idea from the ghost machines. You can try that with your own interests. You might love dinosaurs and you might love space. Like, put them together and see what you get. Okay, so question number 6. Who is your favourite character in Wildspark? Oh, do you know, I love them all for so many different reasons. Even horrible Cora, I kind of quite I love to hate her because she's so horrible, but there are a few redeeming things about her. But I think my favourite, I think Prue, because, you know, she is such a trier. She's a real, you know, she won't take no for an answer. She really give it everything in order to try and achieve what she wants to achieve. And I really admire people that try. I mean, we all might fail in what we want to do, but, you know, what's the thing that I find annoying is if people don't even try. And I love that she is a trier. So Prue is one of my favourite. Although the trio, Edwin and Agapantha, I love them all dearly in their own ways as well. So question 7. The characters have really unusual names like Agapantha and Fimblewick. How did you pick them? I love choosing character names. It's one of my favourite things about being a writer is choosing names, and I always try and choose things that suit the character, that say a little bit of something about them. So Fimblewick, it was just a name that was, sometimes I have to work hard at thinking of a name. Sometimes they pop into my head, and Fimblewick popped into my head, and I thought it suits him. It just describes what he's about. You know, he's a bit mysterious, he's a bit snappy, and he's a bit, it's got that vibe about it. Agapantha, there's a flower I think called an agapanthus, and I just like the rhythm of it as a word. So Agapantha, it just seemed to work well as a name and sound quite sort of traditional, and I thought you could shorten it to Ag, so I quite like that. Other names, I like it to say something about it. In my other stories, like in Brightstorm, Brightstorm is the name of Arthur and Maudie's, it's their second name, Arthur and Maudie Brightstorm. And with Brightstorm, I thought I wanted something that described their character, so I was thinking something, they're quite positive and they're also quite strong. So I thought, what if I take 2 words and mix them together? So bright is positive, storm is a strong word, put them together, Brightstorm, it kind of works. So with characters, I try and do things like that, find things that a little bit reflect their personality. Or like with Wildspark, the head of the Factorial, Hannah Woolstonbury. To me, Woolstonbury sounds like, she means business. It sounds like a kind of a master's name. Hannah Woolstonbury, you wouldn't mess with her, would you? So I find things that to me have a good rhythm, that fit the world, that fit the atmosphere and fit the character. So that's all the questions that I have for now. So do take care, happy reading, happy adventuring, stay safe and well, all of you, and do let me know what you think of Wildspark. Take care, bye bye.